Thank you for coming, Anna and Ezekiel. They're here to talk about surviving the first year at uni. So they go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Just want to clarify, you can all see the slides. Okay, perfect. Anna, you can see it as well?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so I'll start off, I'll just give a bit of an introduction about us as a university. So UAL stands for University of the Arts London, which we are a university that is number 2 in the world for art and design. We've held on to the subject ranking for the past 6 years. So often we encourage students when it comes to looking at their university choices to look at rankings, because it often can be an indicator of the quality of facilities, the resources, as well as the success rate of students who attend that institution. Although we do encourage students to look at that as a factor, they should bear in mind that it is only a factor, and there are other things to take into consideration. So open days can perhaps help with this. Sometimes just taking part in taster sessions, speaking to student ambassadors, just to get an overall feel of the university experience. So just to give you a brief overview of us as a university, so we're broken up into 6 key colleges, which I'll start off with Camberwell College of Arts. Camberwell College of Arts is a fine arts specialist college, so you can carry out various fine art courses there, from fine art in computational arts to sculpture, to fine art painting, to drawing. There's a range of subjects that you can explore. And also there are a lot of artistic sites in the surrounding area. So for instance, you can attend exhibitions, you could even showcase your work in those exhibitions as well. It's a great area for if you consider yourself to be a creative. So there's a lot of networking opportunities. So moving on, we've got Central St. Martin's, which is probably our most famous college of them all. With Central St. Martin's, there's roughly around 4,000 students on that site, and it is known for its fashion courses, to architecture, to running journalism courses as well. With Central St. Martin's, is based in King's Cross, so that's pretty much it is considered the center of London. So again, there's a lot of facilities around, there's a lot of opportunities within the surrounding areas. Even a lot of our students do a lot of collaboration with surrounding organizations. So moving on to Chelsea College of Arts, which is based in Pimlico. There's roughly around 1,800 students on that site. With Chelsea, it's traditionally known as a fine arts specialist college, but as of more recent, there's a bit more focus around like textiles, offers graphic design courses there as well as a fine art, a modern / contemporary fine art course. It's right next to Tate Britain. So if you want to access any sort of like resources, if you're carrying out any research to help out with like your projects, it's a good location to be based in. Moving on to London College of Communication. That is based in Southeast London in Elephant and Castle, and it's known for its design, media, and screen specialist courses. So if you're thinking about courses such as animation, illustration, graphic design, as well as VFX, then you can study courses like that at London College of Communication. So it has got around approximately 4,000 students on that site. And again, it's in a great location, only 15 minutes from the center of London. Moving on to London College of Fashion, the key is in the title. It is a fashion specialist college. So if you're looking at the likes of fashion design, to fashion marketing, to psychology of fashion, you can study that at London College of Fashion. It is our largest college of them all, with approximately 6,000 students on that site. And lastly, we've got Wimbledon College of Arts, which is our performing arts specialist college. There is approximately around 800 to 1,000 students on that site. So if you're thinking of the likes of acting and performance, contemporary theatre, theatre design, production arts on screen, you can study courses like that at Wimbledon College of Arts. So I'm just going to pass on to Anna, who's going to just give a bit of an intro about herself and also just go into she's going to share her experience about what it was like being a first year student at UAL.
Thank you very much. So I will be asking for you to move on with the slides throughout. So if you move on to the next slide.
Yep.
Wonderful. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Anna, and I'm a third-year student in Interior and Spatial Design. This is one of the courses that happens and is carried out in Camberwell College of Arts. It used to be in Chelsea, but now it's moved because the course is growing. So I'm currently taking a gap year on a diploma in professional studies program. I feel like a lot of you may not know what that is. I personally didn't when I was having this kind of presentation. But it basically is a year of internships, which is what I'm doing now to go with my course as an extra diploma. So right now I'm in France. Continuing on. So I'm half Swedish, half Bulgarian. I have been studying 8 years in the UK in Bournemouth, and I completed A-levels in art, textile design, and geography prior to my bachelor degree. Next page, please. Thank you. Okay, so I'll be running you down just like the thoughts that university students usually have surviving the first year. So the first things you may have is like hopes, dreams, maybe some concerns running through your head. So I want you all to just like know that universities are just for new beginnings. They are full of new hopes, new beginnings, new dreams. I mean, when you come to London, like London's a new city to explore. I don't know if any of you've probably visited London. You've seen how crowded, how joyful it is. So there's just so many now that you're a student or you are to be a student in UAL. Now you have all these 6 colleges to discover, as well as London and all the wonderful social events it has to offer. So while you are being exposed to these colleges, this London life, you will inevitably make new friends. I mean, that's just how socializing works. And these new friends that you make are more likely to be international. So you have a lot of people in UAL are actually international students. So you have a lot of people from North America, South America, Asia, I mean, all over the world. Like you'll be meeting people that you may never have thought that you would have bumped into everyday life. And there you are, you're sharing the same class together. So, and then another wonderful thing is when you go to art university, I mean, you're studying the course you have chosen, but it's also, there's so many other things going around you that you will inevitably just get new passions and new interests by joining like clubs, societies, joining all different types of fairs. So just keep an open mind for that. So while I'm telling you all the rose-colored glasses things that London has to offer you, obviously you may be having some concerns about just like London or just starting university in general. So a lot of things like I definitely was thinking when I was applying and going there is, will I fit in? Will I find friends? Did I make the right course choice? I mean, it's a lot of different things to consider, especially knowing that you will be doing this for 3 years. So I want you to know that like these questions are very common. It's a very common thing to have. Honestly, it's very good that you're having these questions because it just shows that you care. You care about your future. You care about the right things you're doing. So a few things you can do just to like ease your concerns just a little bit is you can research, you can plan, before you start anything, research. It's the best thing you can do. So go on different UAL websites or, you know, you can also go on a platform called UniBuddy, which I am a part of. So UAL offers this service to talk to students. So I definitely recommend you that if you have any concerns for the course you want to do. You can also join accommodation hall group chats if you are accepted when you apply for the accommodations. You can also join a lot of university group chats if you're accepted into UAL. So before you go to UAL, you'll be able to establish some kind of connection with the people who you will be sharing pretty much a living space or working space with. You can also attend freshers events. The Art Student Union that UAL has, it is very good at organizing these lively, vibrant, amazing events where you can meet so many people, not only from your UAL college, but also from all the different colleges that are there, which is fantastic. And just stay alert on emails, meetings, anything that could be expected of you before you start university. Those are a few pointers. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so you may be all wondering, how was my first week? I think the first week is probably one that we all have dreams and nightmares about, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? I don't know. So the main thing is, I mean, I come from Bournemouth, which is quite suburban. So I've lived there for quite a long time. So it's quite peaceful. So the one thing that I was doing was adapting to the really lively atmosphere of everyone moving around, everyone, the city that never sleeps, I guess. So that was one thing that I was doing. I was also doing this with, while making new friends, while attending all the different types of workshops that UAL has to offer on these 2 welcome weeks that they do before you start university, which I highly recommend you attend so you can come to university or you settle in your halls a little bit earlier, which they usually do, and then just attend all these really nice workshops that you can meet a lot of different people in different courses, which I recommend you do. Another thing, aside from university and school, is exploring London. Together, alone, with people, alone, doesn't really matter. And just going to free exhibitions, free museums. London is full of those, so I definitely recommend you go just to get inspired, maybe just to have a few ideas when you start the course, just hit the ground running. And well, the first week I was very busy with these kind of things, as well as, thinking ahead of, okay, after these 2 weeks, what would I want to be doing with my social life? So I signed up to be a student ambassador for my college, which is one of the jobs that we do now that I will speak to you, future students, and basically just represent the college is something that I always like doing. So I did it. And I recommend you do it because you give people also tours at your college. So it is something that you learn at the same time as you work, which is great. And I joined a lot of clubs like film club, book club, just meeting people that have alike hobbies as you, which is great. So a general thing of how your classes would be organized. Well, I do interior and spatial design, but a lot of the courses, they kind of organize their time like this. So 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. For me, it was Monday and Tuesday. Some other days, some other weeks for you. So Monday and Tuesday, it's skill learning. Friday is theory, tutorials, lectures, things like that. And Thursday is an optional career and employability lecture, which just helps you to understand what are the options out for you after you graduate, or maybe during your study, which is what I went to. This is why I'm doing the Diploma of Professional Studies. Next one, please. Okay, so just to go a little further into what I do or what the courses do. So the classes, the assignments, the project. So the first year assignments and the units. So the unit 1 is a very basic introduction to the course. Usually the course makes it in a way that the unit isn't too hard. Everyone is just trying to figure out where they stand in the course. And, everyone's coming from different backgrounds. So don't let that deter you from like, oh, did I do the right? Did I have to do this before? Did I have to prepare this before? There's people coming from all over the place. Like there's all different types of qualifications. So this is just a really nice unit to just get to know everyone, to see where your virtues in working in the design world. So this moves on to the unit 2, which is a collaborative, in my case, it was a collaborative spatial intervention. So we usually in the units 2, we work with local businesses. UAL is very much giving back to the community, being very sustainable, not only environmentally, but also very economically and socially sustainable, which involves the community around. So it's just understanding the community needs. We meet with the clients, we make a product. I know this year they were working with schools and they were making designs which helped like play in the school, things like that. And then this moves to unit 3, which is a more spatial narrative in my case, which was more abstract. It was making an abstract city, which was all about research, coming up with an idea and executing it, which was very nice. I quite enjoyed that unit. And unit 4 is, again, a socially engaged design, which was a combination of all the skills that you would receive in year 1 to create a sustainable design for a site or some kind of design place that we were given. So all of these units, so you may be asking, how did I get organized? How did I pass each unit? Because you do have to pass each unit. The first year is a pass or a fail, but you need to pass to go to year 2. So got to stay alert on that. So how did I manage my workload? So I kept a calendar of all the due dates, which is something that you are kind of in the process of always doing in school. So I don't think this is a very hard thing to adapt to keep a calendar of due dates. So I also scheduled days for research, which is something that's super important in university. I don't know if it's quite important in other cases as well, in secondary school and primary school, but especially university, this is very much you're doing your own research, you're finding different things out, you're getting inspired. So you need to schedule days to go out, to live, to go to the library, go to a museum, do photo shoots, all that stuff to get inspired, to translate it into your designs. It's a inevitable thing you need to do. And lastly, you can work and you can talk to your cohort. So this is basically the people that you're in class with, your friends, your acquaintances. I definitely recommend you do this because at some point you're all going to be on the same page. So it's always nice to know that you can be able to, if your tutor isn't there, if there's somebody there not to help you, you can always, resort to a friend to, help you speed up a process if you see a bump in the way. Next slide, please. Okay, so the challenges, particularly, I think in London, especially in London, but university in general, because you have a lot of responsibility. University is a time where you kind of it's your first time feeling like independent, you're living alone, you're independent, you have to be keeping track of everything. So balancing work, study, and social life is really vital. So you have to make sure that you vary your routine between fun, learning, and work, which is something that it is really hard to balance. I'm trying to master this thing. I don't think I'll be able to for a few years, but it is a hard thing to master. I think you definitely have to be nice to yourself and really reflect on everything you have been doing. I just, treat yourself to some fun because you deserve it. You're going through university. Good job. So another thing is the academic shift and adapting. So you always, for these challenges, I feel like a lot of times you're set an assignment and you feel like, oh my God, this seems like a lot of work. Oh goodness. And you may start panicking because university, they usually set you like a brief and you have to read this brief and you're like, wow, this is so much work. How am I going to do this? So you always have to set yourself like teeny tiny goals to reach this end, brief, you're going to get there. So if you set yourself goals, just like prior academic years, you'll be able to you'll be able to pursue your ideas and passions, and you'll also be able to enjoy it along the way if you have these little, assignment goals that you reach, and then at the end they'll all form together, trust me, to this great design portfolio that will get you a pass in your units if you follow my advices. And lastly, I think I think this problem is something that may not be talked about or isn't about like work or academic things. It's homesickness. You're gonna miss your hometown. You're gonna miss, well, if you're lucky enough to live maybe with your parents or with your family, or maybe you don't want to live with them. You want your individuality. You'll always experience homesickness. It's a very normal thing. So I always recommend you to, maybe schedule some calls, stay in contact with your parents, your friends, your relatives, anyone. So you have like the sense of home with you everywhere you go. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'll just dive a little more into the student social life. So as I mentioned before, making friends. I mean, UAL is just perfect for making friends because, I mean, everywhere you go in UAL, there's always some kind of event, exhibition, freshers event. Like there's always somewhere you're going to bump into someone and you're going to make an acquaintance, and it's just inevitable. So be warned. So UAL organizes a lot of freshers events, fairs. There's a welcome fair actually coming up on the 28th. You guys cannot attend because you're not UAL students, but next year when you get accepted, you can attend. So it's just a really nice place to understand what societies there are, clubs, different things like that. You meet a lot of people, you get a lot of freebies, so definitely go next year. Another thing that UAL does is it does a lot of field trips. They make a lot of field trips for students. So I know in the welcome week they do some. I know this year they're going to Kew Gardens. There's also some other ones to, I went to one to Parliament Hill, which really helped with my drawing and sketching skills of landscapes, which is something that I thought I needed help with. And I also met a lot of people from Chelsea, from CSM, from LCF. So that was also very enjoyable. And you can also work tons of student jobs on the Art Temps, which is a really great website for student like jobs and working. So I'm a student ambassador, but I've also helped out with exhibitions. I've also helped out with these live events. So it's just a really fun way to get some money, meet a lot of people. So it's just a great way. And then also the living in halls, which is a really good thing to do if you're living outside of London, and UAL halls are really safe, which is something that we're going to talk about again. I lived in Archwood House, which was 15 minutes away from my university, so it was a very convenient place for me. I met a lot of fellow UAL students, and they organized a lot of activities for us as well, which was very nice. So you almost like you move out of home, and it's like you're moving away from your family, but you're kind of joining another family. This is how it felt like for me the first year, because you're sharing a kitchen, you're meeting a lot of people. So inevitably, if you're sharing spaces, you become much closer. So it's like you have a little family going on the first year. They also have like cat cafe visits, puppy yoga, like all these little like cool activities you can join. And they also have 24/7 security. So you have security, you have like services if your water like the water boiler breaks or something, I don't know, something happens. So it's nice to know that there's somebody there for you all the time that you can call. Next one, please. Okay, well, I'm pretty much done. I just have a final tips. So I think the important thing is to know that all the experience and all the education you're doing right now in be primary school, secondary school, high school, A levels, it's important to know that this is just your foundation. Like, it's very good you have this foundation of education, and you're just taking this foundation and just developing it, which is amazing, because it will be in your virtue. It will make you stand out to compare to the rest of your cohort. So yeah, Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Anna. That was great. We've got a couple of questions, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so why did you choose to study interior and spatial design?
Okay, that's a very good question. So I actually always loved spaces. It be like rooms, exterior design, interior design. So I think the interior and spatial design program, when I read the description, it gives you the possibilities of like endless things. Like you can do interior, exterior. It didn't put me in a box like interior design or architecture because I didn't want to build a building. That was clear. So it just allowed me this this freedom of basically applying my art, my fine art of different painting and stuff, as well as textiles, which I wanted to do interior design, but I wanted to do a little bit more than interior design. So it was the perfect mixture of courses. So that's why I chose it. It was a little bit of a risk, but I'm not regretting it. So it turned out good for me.
And you mentioned that you work with local businesses. So you personally, are there any examples of local businesses that you've worked with?
Yes, so well, actually recently we did an exhibition for London Design Festival. So we were actually asked by UAL was asked by London Design Festival to create this exhibition. So we curated this huge exhibition in Peckham Levels, and it was actually presented like a few days ago. So that's one thing we do. Another thing is when you do Unit 2, UAL actually contacts local businesses who are interested in working with students. And most of the time we get really good answers because UAL has such a good brand name. It's such a good name. So I worked with a local coffee shop, which was vegan. So it was very interesting to understand how they maneuver through the business, and we actually made a product for them that they use every day to this day, which is great. So you just get like, you understand the clients because you do like all the research of how many customers they get, what is their space, if you do spatial design obviously, but you just like understand the clients, you understand what they want. So it's very integrated with the work. It's not like these kind of abstract kind of ideas like, if you work with this brand. No, you go to the brand and you talk to the people there, which is amazing because this is something you could actually do as work one day. So it's a good thing to consider.
Yeah. So there's kind of an expectation that in your first year you will go into halls to make friends. Do you think
Yes.
this is true?
I don't know if it's an expectation. I think it's more of like, ooh, I'm gonna go live in halls. I'm gonna move out from my family. I'm gonna be individual. But I mean, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Like, no one's forcing you to. Or you can just privately rent somewhere. But I feel like with the halls, you kind of have like this kind of safety net because it's run by UAL, so it's good. And then also all the people there are also from UAL. So it's also like when you move out, I think it's great for you to live the first year in a hall, UAL hall. And then the second year, you can kind of choose of what you want to do. You can go into another hall, you have other private halls, or you can just move in with a bunch of friends. But it's a great way to like understand the area you're living in, because sometimes you can be like a bit of a risk of like, is this kind of safe area? Is this kind of safe? I don't know. Is this seller like, okay, is he okay? So if you go with UAL, you have the safety of living in there. And then you make a bunch of friends. And you do a bunch of activities. So why not? Why not?
And following on from what Tom said about the halls, and you mentioning externally renting from someone, what's the price difference like, especially in London, because London's very expensive in terms of accommodation? What's the price difference between the two?
Ooh, I could not tell you exactly the price ranges of things, but usually from my experience, private accommodations are obviously more expensive than if you do it privately. But usually you have like this thing of like bills included, bills not included. So obviously if your bills are included, then it will be more expensive. But I mean, when I was there, or UAL usually has bills included. So your water is included, your electricity is included. So it's these things that you don't need to faff around. Like, how do you pay your electricity bills? Like, goodness knows, you don't need to. Like, it just saves you another year of like learning that. So I think you are paying more for these private halls, but it's kind of worth it because you have security, you have bills included, you get friends, it's a lot of benefits. So I think it's just something you just need to like do a pros and cons list about.
And if you were to start uni all over again, what would you do differently?
Ooh, okay. What would I do differently? Maybe not stress so much.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like I was expecting like the world was gonna stop the moment like I stepped into my halls, like, and it was just like everybody. What you need to understand is that you're like really conscious, like, oh my god, like I'm gonna look like such a newbie, like, oh my god, like everyone's looking at me. But you're gonna walk into your halls, you're gonna walk into uni, and everyone's gonna be like you. Everyone's gonna be acting just like you. So you're not gonna be like, no one's gonna be like, it's the new kid, ill. Like no one's gonna be like that, Everyone is the new kid. So if you're not stressing about it, when you're not stressed and people look at you, people be like, wow, that's really amazing how she's not stressed. Baby, why am I so stressed? Yeah, why am I so stressed? And then you have like this group of people who are like not stressed about this thing. So I think it's just everything's like inside the head, that you're like overcomplicating things, but it's very straightforward. You move in, everyone's new, you talk to the new people, you get friends, you do your activities, and you plan. Obviously it's okay to be stressed. Like what I did when I was stressed, I just researched. Like if I was stressed about something, I research. How do I go here? How do I go here? But once you like get that out of the way, if it's out of your control, no use to stress. So that's what I would tell myself, not to stress so much.
Yeah, Harrison.
And Anna, you're obviously an ambassador. You're here promoting UAL. Do you get paid to be an ambassador, or is it just free? What's that like?
Yes, so I actually do get paid to be an ambassador. I think it's a really, I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose how much you get paid, but I'm gonna move this on.
You can if you want to, by the way. It's completely down to you.
Do I get another job after this if I disclose?
Oh yeah, of course you will. I disclose it all the time, so don't worry about it.
I get paid around like 15 to 16 an hour. I think it just depends on what I'm doing. So last week, actually, I was a welcome ambassador. So I was just giving people tours around the college, helping like with setup things. It was honestly like, it's a very nice way to get to know the people in your university, because you're never gonna like, you never know, like there could be somebody that's living literally next door in your accommodation and you're like, wait, you're in the same course as me? It's like, it's so embarrassing. Like you need to know who's your neighbor, basically. So you meet a lot of people doing that. I also do these live events, which are very convenient. The hours are very flexible, which is nice. So you get to basically say like, hey, yes, I'm available for this job, or no, I'm not. So you don't have this pressure of like, if you have an assignment, I've had big assignments, had to pull all-nighters for a few things. If I have a job coming in, I could just be like, sorry, I'm busy, maybe the next one. So it's very nice to have this, you don't have this pressure, So it's very nice thing to do. And I personally was a head girl and a student ambassador in my secondary school and my college and A levels that I was doing. So I'm very like, if you're used to this kind of like talking, it's not different to that. So you could just apply those skills that you've had before.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you.
Yeah. We got any questions from the floor?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard an eager person.
Which softwares do you use to keep track of tasks and due dates?
Okay. I'm gonna sound so basic, but like it's just well, I have Apple devices. I highly recommend if you have like joint devices, that's super helpful. I have a iMac. I have a MacBook Pro. I have an iPad. I have my iPhone. So I usually put all my reminders on a shared iCloud, just like on iCalendar or just common reminders. So if I leave something at home, I have one of my devices shouting at me to do something that I forgot to do. So I do definitely recommend you that. But I know a lot of there's different apps that you can use that you can color coordinate if you like doing that. I sometimes like doing that, guilty. Color coordinating a few like different things, like if you want to do like educational things, social things, work things. But yeah, just have a little look or research what's best for you. Sometimes, you just need a word to remind you of what to do, or sometimes you need a more detailed description of, oh yeah, that's what I needed to do. So just have a little research, okay?
Yeah, thanks very much.
No worries.
Thank you both. That was amazing. I think we really got a good insight about the first year and
Good, I'm glad.
what we should do.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.